Hi everyone, today we're going to be having a look at classifying triangles. First of all, let's remind ourselves of what a triangle is. A triangle is a three-sided polygon, and the sum of the measures of the angles of a triangle is always 180 degrees. And here are some examples of some triangles. There are two main ways that we can classify triangles, and one of those is classifying triangles by the angles. So we have three different ways of classifying triangles by their angles. In this triangle, you can see the measure of the angles are 30 degrees, 65 degrees, and 85 degrees. All of those angles are acute angles, which means they are less than 90 degrees. And when a triangle has three acute angles, we call it an acute triangle. This triangle here, the measures of the angles is 30 degrees, 125 degrees, and 25 degrees. As you can see, it has one obtuse angle of 125 degrees. Obtuse meaning greater than 90 degrees. So if a triangle has an obtuse angle, we call it an obtuse triangle, which means that it has one obtuse angle. Over here we have a triangle that has 60 degrees, 30 degrees, and this one here, this square here, represents a right angle of 90 degrees. So a triangle that has a right angle is called a right triangle. We can also classify triangles by their sides. So we have three examples here. These little pink lines represent sides that are congruent, and congruent means equal. So we're talking about those lines or segments being equal in length. So this triangle here has three sides that are all equal to one another. The length of the segments is the same. So we call it an equilateral triangle, and that means that it has three congruent sides. In this triangle here, we can see that these two sides are congruent or equal in length, and we call this triangle an isosceles triangle, which means that at least two congruent sides are present in the triangle. Now, with that in mind, that means that an equilateral triangle can also be classified as an isosceles triangle because it too has at least two congruent sides. When you are identifying and classifying your triangles, I want you to be as precise and accurate as possible. So if it's an equilateral triangle and you can tell that it has three sides that are congruent, then you should label it as an equilateral triangle rather than an isosceles triangle. Our third type of triangle over here when classifying triangles by sides is a scalene triangle. And as you can see, it has no sides that are congruent. Each one of these sides is of different lengths. So we call it a scalene triangle, which means that it has no congruent sides.